What'd you do this morning, man?
This morning was good, man.
Day after a game, waking up.
Yeah, I got up pretty decently early and just kind of kicked off my morning, watching the game
Pedialyte.
back. Drank some Pedialyte, get rehydrated. It was obviously a pretty tough game last night, so yeah, need to get rehydrated. We obviously watched some of the games together, so that was cool to just constantly get that film. You know, good times to get better and improve when other people aren't.
Yeah, dude, it's great to be here in Orlando.
So like, what do you do on like an average morning, not after a game? Kind of like, you got a day of training, or like, what's your average morning like then?
I usually try and take advantage of the morning because, as we were talking about earlier, I know you remember we were talking about how mornings are such like a tough time for people to get up and get their days going. But I feel like the morning is a great opportunity to get a lot of improvement in while everybody else is still sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So the earliest you could wake up and be comfortable and start getting to work, I think that's like a massive advantage because over time those little small investments every morning are going to pay dividends in the future. So just imagine wake up in the morning, couple hours before training, try and get some reading in, get my mind right, go for a walk, continue to just like almost meditate about the day and just be like, all right, feed myself some positive vibes and tell myself, be the best, BTB. Try and rep like what you represent today and take something away from the day. So kick that off in the right way, take a shower, get ready, head to the facility, and get ready to tackle a day of training.
So you get up at 5:45.
Yes.
And then what do you do?
First things first, I gotta feed the dog. So first I take care of my boy. We give him some food, and next thing is I get the coffee brewing, just because that's my main thing that I like to do in the morning. We turn the coffee on. It brews while I'm taking him down. So right as I come back up, hear the beep, pour yourself a cup, and start getting after it.
So that's like 6 a.m. and then you go to I guess what do you do from 6 to 7? You said you read.
Yeah, I do a lot of reading, and sometimes I'll take notes in books if I feel like the points are extremely valid. Yeah. I've actually been really analyzing the book that I've been reading most recent, which is Unshakable by Tony Robbins.
When did you pick this up?
When did I pick this up? I think me and Liz just ordered it one day on Amazon. We saw a couple books that we heard were really good and spend no time thinking about it and no hesitation when we know that we're going to be buying books. And so that's
it's just valuable.
Just a great investment,
like the
right?
ROI of a $10 book.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable.
Exactly.
People don't buy them anymore, really.
Juicy information. $10 gets you an incredible ROI. Like you're getting $100.
Yeah, like I said, if you're trying to learn strategies in any sort, whether it's real estate, if you're a teacher, if you're a nutritionist, you can learn from the best of the best via books. Because a lot of these people have their own books and they try to explain their experiences and help people out. So if you can listen to somebody who has done it the best and has been a complete cleaner in their category, that's the main person you should be listening from.
I actually read a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. It's very old principles that apply to growing wealth and financial responsibility and everything. And that's one of the principles is they talk about you don't ask a craftsman about something else. You kind of you ask
stay in your circle.
Someone in their field. Well, I guess you ask someone who's an expert in their field, a bricklayer or something. You ask him to build a house. You don't ask the fucking bricklayer to make jewelry.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the similar principle that you were saying. Learn from the best.
Yes,
and you can pick up.
Their habits.
These people are best for the reason.
Yeah.
You're trying to emulate what they
They're
do.
basically going to write you a roadmap out on what you want to be successful in. Right?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
So I love studying.
Also biographies, because you can emulate yourself off the same paths people have gone on. For example, Shoe Dog, which I know Chris and I have read, which is Phil Knight's story, the creator of Nike. Really just paints you a picture of how other people have done in the past, so something you can kind of emulate yourself on. Just expanding your watch. Shout out to the Nike brand. Nike sponsored athlete, Chris Mueller here. But shout out the brand, of course. Anyway, just expanding your mind, reading books, especially biographies for me. That's what I really personally like. I'm not really sure about Unshakable, but
you read?
I've not.
So here's the main takeaway from Unshakable.
You can pitch it to us and everyone else who's listening.
Here's the main takeaway from Unshakable for me. If you put in $28,000 By the time you're 28 into the market,
Yeah.
based upon the last 110, 120 years of data, compound interest over the long run,
Mm-hmm.
you don't even have to keep adding money. You don't have to touch it. You just put in 28 grand. Compound interest over the long run will take that and accumulate it up to 1.85 million.
Mm-hmm.
So that can help in a lot of ways. But that's by the time you're 65. If you get it in there by age 28,
Patience.
get it there by patience. It's basically just like don't bet against the market. Don't bet against the U.S. in the long run.
Yeah.
You just need to be in the market. It's about the years. So that's my main.
It's a great read.
Unshakable.
I would definitely give it a read.
What's your takeaway? Do you have?
I just like the fact that you can become unshakable in your finances just from a couple key principles. Just now that you could be making your own money, we're kind of getting into that adult life and knowing where every dollar goes and making a budget and, investing, just making long, smart investments, right?
Yeah.
Thinking about your future and I think Tony's
Yeah,
principles are
putting
good.
your money to work, exactly.
Yeah.
Depreciates over time because of inflation, which
Yeah.
just decreases the value of the dollar. So if you do buy investments, whether that be real estate, alternative investments
Right.
in the market, that should just grow over time. It's a great way to, I guess, accumulate and plan for the future. But
It's like any investment, though. You gotta think long term. Whether you're making music, writing,
Playing
soccer,
building a sports account.
Yeah, there's a lot of aspects you could look at it, not to take it so literally just in finances, where your investments go there, but investments in yourself, right?
Yeah.
And we talk about that a lot.
$10 book.
We talk about that a lot.
$10
That
book.
personal growth, how important those personal investments are in doing,
Weathering the storm.
I think
Being
like,
unshakable.
overall, just learning. Learning is free nowadays.
it's so true.
And
Man.
it's just so beneficial the more you learn.
YouTube tutorials, Wikipedia, anything. Learn the guitar. Linda, I think you have to pay for
Learn
it.
to
To be
learn.
honest, you
Oh,
get
yeah,
it free
you
through
do.
that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
And you know what this all comes down to? At the end of the day, it all comes down to desire. It's really and dedication. It's just about
Very
what
true.
you want to do.
Yeah.
Right? You're not gonna go and learn about something that you don't
It's gonna be
want to
difficult.
learn about. Desire is it's like the seed.
It is.
Gone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's why you should also do
So
what
that's
you
the
love.
reason why. Yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
that's the root. If you're gonna aspire to be great at something, and it requires to do all this work every day. If you don't have a desire to do all that work, you're not going to get anywhere. And it comes down to desire. It can't come down to if you have discipline, if you have dedication, you have to be dedicated to a process that you have desire for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It all seems down to
Seeing-
love.
Yeah.
Off topic, but I think way back in the day, Sports Authority had a sick slogan called "Dedicated to the Dedicated." That's money.
That is
that is a slogan, man.
Yeah.
It is, man. I don't know why they ever
Dedicated
said
to
that.
dedicated, yeah.
But it's
Shout out
that's
Sports Authority.
well, it's just
Soon to be closed.
good marketing, man. Unfortunately, they're not doing well right now, but
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Dedication's a major key.
Very true.
As
Well,
you
it's
go to
just stuck
anything.
with me all
Yeah.
these years. Dedicated to the dedicated. That means something.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be dedicated is not a 1 year thing. You
You're
don't.
talking about
It's a powerful word.
Yeah,
Dedication
yeah.
is-
It's thrown around real easy.
It's thrown around
Yeah.
easily, but to be dedicated to something is having a true
100%.
passion.
It's
for
not
it
like
and really
being on the
doing
team.
anything you can to make that thing work. You
Yeah.
gotta be dedicated to the process.
Mhm.
Dedicated just in general to whatever you're doing.
And 100%. I think if you're dedicated to the team, you're not the guy who's going out and partying. That's not being dedicated. Being dedicated to the team is staying in, watching film,
Putting in work.
put it in the extra hours, always trying to get better, stretch and taking care of your body.
Mhm.
That's dedication. It's not just doing it as a job or something,
True, I will say, you also have to celebrate life. It's what Ike's all about.
And,
You have to.
Amen.
The highs are high. You gotta celebrate those,
Celebrate
of course.
life.
But obviously, in
Absolutely.
moderation, you gotta be focused. Keep your eye on the prize.
It's a time for everything.
But there's a time for everything.
Time and place.
Exactly.
Time and place.
Surround yourself with those on the same mission as you.
Amen.
Yeah, what's that you told me about the marathon?
Yeah, we were on the balcony earlier and we were just talking about how this journey in your life kind of becomes a marathon as you become more dedicated to a process of something. You start pulling away from the pack, right? You start out in the beginning of the race and you're with every single person that's at the line. And everyone's about to start this journey, and those who go faster are going to start pulling away from the pack. And if people are in front of you and you're still kind of with the pack, as you start making those growths and that extra couple steps, right, you're going to pull away from the pack eventually. And then it's just going to be you and the cleaners at the top, right? All the way to the front. The people who are trained, the people who have done it right. You know?
Can you describe what a cleaner is?
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say.
I know that
for the
that's from a
listeners,
book, but yeah, for everyone, can you just describe to someone who doesn't know what a cleaner is?
Yeah. This came from probably my favorite book, Relentless by Tim Grover. Just it really hit me in changing the way that I think about sports. That if I want to be the best that I can be, you got to think like the best. Who was Michael Jordan? And taking away his little key points from every training session, you know, from every lift, from everything that he did, just trying to make himself the best. And Tim Grover came up with these principles and kind of categories of people. He calls them coolers, closers, and cleaners, which I just think is like amazing because you could totally you can literally put people into that category based on how they go about their business, right?
Yeah.
And the cleaners, obviously, like the most elite, the people who don't settle for nothing, who take all the accountability, take ownership, everything.
I know.
Those are the cleaners. Kobe.
Yeah, I know when I read that book. Yeah. Really
Ronaldo.
happy you.
Shout out the GOAT.
Yeah, dude, he is balling.
Are you on record saying Ronaldo is a GOAT over Messi? Or would you say they're co-GOATs?
I think they're co-GOATs. I think we have to appreciate the fact that they're both playing in the same era, how consistent they are. It's ridiculous. Yeah. They're the two best players to ever play. And people should not be wasting their time arguing about who's better. They should really just be focused on enjoying the moment while they're here.
It's enjoy it. It's like sometimes Bucks fans can get so negative right now. Just because there's got to be something that, you know, isn't great.
We're just not used to all this success.
We're not used to this success, you know. Sometimes you have to learn to enjoy, like you were saying, Max, enjoy life.
You really got to enjoy the present.
You got to step back and enjoy the present.
Enjoy the present.
Learn to have fun with it, you know. And
I have a question about this cleaners thing. Does that only apply to athletes in that sense right now? Or what are other examples? Because don't settle.
He talks about cleaners of like the financial world. Even you can say Tony Robbins or Warren Buffett. Yeah, Jeff Bezos. People who are going. He even talks about a bus driver in the book.
So it's more mindset and work.
He talks about a bus driver. Yeah.
No, when I read
it, saying like I'm not gonna be late to any stop. There's gonna be no commotion on my bus. Like. People are going to be disciplined. No one's getting hurt. Everyone's getting home safe.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm doing this like the best I can do. You know?
When I read it, I knew that, which I'm really happy you recommended it to me. I was like, saw some cooler elements myself, saw a lot of closer elements, and a few things that I was a cleaner with. And I think it really helped me flip that switch in some elements where I realized I was lacking. Yeah. And just kind of like take that next step to be, from being like the clutch guy to the always clutch guy who's like now just that's who he is, you know.
Yeah.
So there's some great takeaways from that one, and you know, obviously not an athlete. I thought it was a great read.
It can apply to anyone.
Yeah. So
I think it's just your principles, man, and your values. Don't say like you're gonna be dedicated to something and really put into it if you don't actually put into it. Mm-hmm. That's basically what I took away from it. Like, damn, you really could do this, what you want to do, if you just put in the time and put in the effort and go the extra mile.
Gary Vee is always talking about that.
Yeah, over time, it's going to pay off. You have to be able to see in the long term. Because if you're just focused on short-term goals, like, I don't know, I'll talk about a slight example. I started stretching every night, like 30 minutes before bed. And after 2 or 3 days, like, I didn't really see that much of a difference. But, like, over time, I honestly knew I was making a lot of progress. I'd say a couple weeks later, I was trying to do sit crisscross applesauce, which I'd never been able to do without having serious pain in my hips. Yeah, because my hips were just so tight, and after a couple weeks, my hips opened up and I could sit literally crisscross applesauce. And I was like, damn, if you literally dedicate yourself to something small that like will benefit you in the long run.
20-minute workout every day, something
something slight, man. That's gonna, like down the road.
You can attest to that.
You'll have that's exactly. Change my life,
baby incremental steps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
20 minutes isn't like a lot of time to dedicate to work.
I honestly don't think it's about like the length of time, but it's consistency. It's about getting into a habit of doing something healthy. And like if you even do 20 minutes, like that just shows that you're dedicated to the process of doing it every day.
20 minutes to prepare your day too, because you're thinking about something. You know,
you're sharp.
Yeah.
I will say we could talk about this too, because it probably applies to all of this. Is just like healthy body, healthy mind. Kind of like goes hand in hand a little bit. At least I think personally.
Definitely.
Starting to like go on runs, work out a little bit. You just like feel sharp.
Amen.
Ready to conquer the day.
Yeah, you get just more energy too.
Feel good.
You feel good.
Yeah. Obviously, you can say more than any of us.
Yeah, you get the feeling that like it kind of is like a physical, like I get it, I just got to work, you know. Like, now I'm ready to go work more, you know, like
the sweat of soccer game. You just feel amazing.
Humans are like meant to do physical work.
Task,
like we're evolved from that time, you know what I'm saying?
We want to be a
it's
society
like,
that isn't doing any physical activity in the future.
It's good for us. Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
It's crazy.
You want to introduce the jersey? For the fans.
So we're
and
giving
how
away.
Apply and all that.
Yeah, so we're giving away a signed Chris Mueller jersey. For kicking this off, really excited to do this. They can win it via Twitter. More details will be on Twitter about it. But a signed and Chris game worn, right?
Game worn
jersey. So very cool. I mean, it's a sick jersey.
White and purple's fresh.
Yeah, ready to give this out.
That being said,
that'll be awesome. Check it out on Twitter. We'll have the details all up there.
Yeah. So what do you guys feel like talking about now?
Top TV. It was much better though. That was a good combo. We should call this anyway, but
let's shoot off another topic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Slow and steady wins the race.
What do you got in your book? Slow and steady wins the race. We kind of just did that. Though.
Yeah, we did.
Consistency.
Let's do.
I say we just jump from there, man. I say we just jump from slow and steady wins the race and see where that takes us.
Ooh, I got something that we all got into us.
Okay.
Competitiveness.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a fun one.
You've got to be competitive. You've got to want to win.
Yeah.
Basically, in anything that you do, right?
Yeah, whether you're...
I'm a big believer in that. I really am.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's in not competitive.
I just don't know how there's any other way. I don't see any other way, to be honest.
Whoa, chill though.
Yeah,
no, it's true.
And it's like, sometimes it comes back to bite you for being too competitive.
Do you think it's natural, you know, like in an innate sense?
I don't think so. More so you're on the pitch, bro. More so in the real world.
I know, but sometimes to be the most competitive is like...
It's a great thing.
It's a great thing. At the end of the day, you're going to find a way to win because you're that competitive.
Definitely.
You know?
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be in
win what you do, win the day. That's just like overall, just like the competitive nature, like winning every day.
It's more so about having the competitive nature than rather being competitive, because that competitive nature is like a drive. You know? Just something that gets you going, gets you up every day, trying to get better at something. It comes down to like learning, man. You know, like being a lifelong
and you gotta be competitive because you gotta outdo the competition. You wanna reach the top. It's that way, bro.
Yeah.
If you want to win,
I think winning teaches you a lot of good lessons. It kind of teaches you like hard work pays off, and
losing teaches you a lot.
Losing probably more valuable, honestly.
100%. You know, when you mess up,
rejection Olympics, you just gotta get used to it. You know,
you don't give a damn about losing, whether it's like at work or. On the pitch, then I'm wondering what's wrong. Do you just not care about what you're doing? If you win the day, get up. That you should enjoy that.
I just hate losing.
Here's one of my favorite lines.
I hate to lose. That's like my main thing.
They say good players love to win and great players hate to lose. That's one of my favorite quotes of all time.
Dude.
That's a good one.
You have to hate to lose, man.
That's true.
That's true.
Ping pong, whatever it is.
Ping pong, golf,
juggling games, I just don't want to lose, bro. I don't want to give anybody an opportunity to say that they beat me.
Dude, a lot of times, with some songs that I hear, I comes down to sometimes you can't deny the heat. You instantly know when you hear a song that this is an amazing song. But other times, if I hear some song that's trash or extremely poppy and cliche, I'm upset about how it's going so well. How it's getting all these plays. When I think about my music, if that doesn't light a fire under you, I wonder do you really care about what you're doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Something.
And do you have confidence in yourself?
Yeah.
Because if you didn't, then you wouldn't think that. If you're like, if he's popping, he's probably better.
Yeah. I'm just not gonna assume he's better, because if you know the craft, you know the details, and you know the techniques. A photographer knows if another photo is probably a good photo, compared to someone like me, who I don't really get deep into the Photoshop and all that stuff, so I don't really know what to look for, Yeah.
In the process of learning.
I'm in the process of learning, so.
That's what it's all about.
A couple of YouTube videos here and there, never hurt anybody, but I think it comes down to just giving a damn. I know I like to say this,
Yeah,
about whatever
I
you
agree.
do, you know, like,
Giving a damn.
what's the point of doing something and not, like, being invested in it? Then you're just, like, literally living, you must
Just
really
average.
not like something.
Just average.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like
Be
stemmed
obsessed
off.
to be average.
What?
Be obsessed to be average.
Be obsessed or
What was
be
one of your main
average?
takeaways from that?
Is that also?
That was a book by
Yeah.
Grant Cardone that I read. Amazing book.
Gotcha.
Also steered off from 10x. 10x rule of
Yeah.
life.
Oh, yeah.
10 times. Like not like literally the act of doing something 10 times, but like your goals, your visions, multiplying by 10. Yeah.
So if you aim big and you come up short, you still exceeded what you thought you could initially do.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that whole principle of that book is also amazing. But Be Obsessed or Be Average, another great book if you're looking for a good mental kick, you know? A little
Yeah.
bit of inspiration. Grant Cardone's got a crazy story.
What is
What
is he? I don't know.
Give us
anything
an
about
inspiration.
it. I don't really know, man.
No,
Tell
yeah,
us.
Grant Cardone was a drug addict and, you know, just a mess in his life, honestly, until he was about 25. He, like, went to rehab, got in big trouble at the home, and his dad died when he was young, and at the age of 25, I think he got into car sales
Yeah.
and started just wanted to kill being a car salesman, was loving making like money because it's kind of like commission based, like the
Yeah,
harder you work,
yeah.
the more money you
Yeah,
get,
yeah.
the more time you put in, the more money
Yes,
you get. And he
yeah.
just kind of fell in love with that drive like that, and it honestly like turned around his life, skyrocketed his life about just how be obsessed with something or you're just gonna be average forever basically.
So,
Yeah,
like, what is he
So it's
doing
a good
now?
story,
Did
man.
he write this book then, or is he
Yeah,
like?
he's written a book. He's invested in like real estate. I know that's like a huge thing for him. He like owns apartment complexes and
Okay.
stuff like that. He's just like constantly working, this guy. So inspirational.
Guess that's also the secret sauce, just hard work.
Yeah, I think the more you put
Huge.
into something, the more you get out.
Yeah. Value.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
give it
just
love
like,
and value, people will feel it. You know.
I think you see the progress in anything like growing a brand. The more you give to it, the more you get from it. The more
Yeah.
work you put in off the pitch, the more benefit you get on the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like things just don't. I mean, there's strange, short. You know, like some cases where some people, you know, get the easy route. But for most people that are successful, it's a lot of hard work
Make
over
your own
time.
luck.
Yeah, you make your own luck. It wasn't about getting lucky. It's about dictating your own life, you know, and like your own terms, and at least going for it. And I think that's a lot of people are struggling to do that. Maybe they just don't know because think they're good at like 8 things and aren't diving into one that they should really invest a lot of time in.
You're saying kind of like a more of a concentrated
Oh, are you
approach.
saying specialize a little
Specialize.
bit?
I'm saying you have to realize like
Focus on your strengths, basically.
focus on your
That's a
strengths.
good
You
point.
know,
That's
like,
what you're good at.
no, people will juggle and say, "Well, I haven't started this because of this. You know, I'm doing this.
I'm
You know, I'm
busy with
doing this.
finals.
You know, like, or I don't know what I'd love to do because I think I love so many things to do.
Something like
It's like just
dad
pick
always
one. You
says,
know,
yeah.
pick
Really?
one. You know, like or like, yeah. You know, you say like, you know, you're in school. You know,
some
or
just some
for
reason
example,
that you just
yeah.
can't do something because
yeah, or it's like you
it's
know,
kind of like that saying like you'll make time.
yeah, you
Yeah, if you really want it bad enough.
That's what I'm talking about. Everything strings back to desire, bro.
Yeah,
You're not
that's
gonna
a good
do
point.
anything you don't want to do.
yeah.
That's just like the way it goes. If I sit here and draw out a roadmap for somebody and say like, yo, if you want to be a professional soccer player to this degree, you know, like you got to put in a lot of work. You got to outwork your opponent. You got to, you know, have this type of approach. Reading helped me a lot. I could try and draw them a map of everything that I did that got me to this point, but at the end of the day, if they don't want to do it,
They're not gonna be that great.
they're not gonna be great.
True.
You know,
Yeah.
you gotta have the desire to like want to do what these things and what these people are talking about. You can't just. We always say you could bring the food to the table, but you can't make the person eat. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
You can give them everything they want, but if they don't want it, they ain't gonna do it.
It honestly reminds you of Giannis. Like Giannis has all the natural ability in the world. When he was drafted out of Greek's second division, and now, you know, hard work combined with some gifts, and he's equals the best player ever. You know,
Yeah,
conversation. You know, like when it's all said and done.
yeah.
Before we get too ahead of ourselves, but
Love Giannis though.
but like Giannis, you know, if he wasn't a hard worker and a good student of the game and like actually did all that, there's no way he would reach his ceiling. He had
Yeah.
too far of a gap in between where he was and where he is now.
You can
And
tell
where
the
he still
players.
has to go. Yeah, he's putting in work every day over the long run process, and it's really exciting to watch him blossom.
Which seems like he's
Nice.
enjoying himself too. You know, I think that's something you get on the
Reward.
side of when you are
Reward.
dedicated to something.
Yeah.
You feel
it's
great about
it's not only rewarding, but I will say that it gives you like a sort of confidence.
It gives you a purpose.
It gives you like a flair about yourself, right?
Like I'm going after this.
Yeah, make sure identity for sure.
Like when I kill my day and like start off, make my bed, clean, like get my life in order. Then usually after work, it's easier for me to enjoy myself, because it's like
because you don't have like in the back of your mind or something, right?
And I got in my 2 hours of Pro Tools producing, then I'm like, fuck, I'm ready, I'm killing this, and then it's the next thing, and it kind of snowballs. Or if you do the opposite, or if you start off your day, you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna ignore this, I don't really feel like doing that. The rest of the day, you just probably won't be feeling that way too.
At the end of the day, you'll be like, damn, I didn't do this, and then it's like, you wasted the day.
Yeah, then maybe you're thinking about it at night, you're stressing over it because you didn't do it, and then you're not really enjoying yourself as much. It's like, Giannis, you can see always having fun off the court because he's having fun on the court, and he puts in the work, Something like you too, man. You're always like, having a great time, but because you're already proud of how you're playing, and like how your work ethic and stuff.
Yeah. And I'm also just like, I have confidence in who I am as like a person, and I think that
KG just yawns.
He's had a couple massive lion yawns.
Yeah, I mean, we just had our first night second night in Orlando. We had a crazy night last night.
Dude, it's totally fine. It's funny.
Yeah, so that's why.
This is what we're saying, man. Men's is tired, but we're out here working still.
Tell the fans about you.
The vacation is not a vacation. This is a business trip.
Amen.
We're here to work. St. Patrick's Day, by the way.
St. Patrick's Day, we're still grinding.
No, we were talking about earlier, getting up in the morning. It's a great time to get ahead because other people are sleeping. St. Patrick's Day,
another great opportunity.
Everyone's boozing, you're working, you're getting ahead.
Staying in. You don't have to go out, on a Friday night. If you really want to be great at something, you stay in and you learn how to add value to that.
And also these conversations we're having right now, people may not view it as working, but really we're just speaking the dreams and everything, like almost into reality. Like we've been in the past. We used to sit on the couch like 2, 3, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And just like talk about what was gonna happen, and it's happening.
Speaking it
into
existence. Shout out the bar
into existence. You guys believe in that?
Yeah.
Me too.
I'm a massive believer in speaking into existence.
Well, big thing is, honestly, if you don't believe in yourself, no one will. Like, that's where you at least start, So speaking into existence and also just, like, believing in yourself kind of goes hand in hand.
Amen.
Yeah.
So it's obviously crucial, personally.
Yeah, because if you don't think you can, you're already losing.
Yeah.
You're already done.
No one else is going to think you can.
No one else is going to think you can, yeah.
It radiates. That energy radiates,
Yeah.
If you actually are going out and, like, showing that you can do it and like believing that you can do it, you probably will. It's like confidence.
How else did Ike become, Ike Buck's become the #1 Bucks account on Twitter? Spoke into existence.
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta aim a high bar, like
10 times.
What you believe will be true.
Yeah.
And one of my other favorite sayings is, do something today your future self will thank you for. I just want to talk to you guys about that quote a little bit. What do you guys think about that?
I'm definitely sitting here thanking myself for all those times in college when all my friends would go out and I had the vision by myself, thinking about what could be in the future, and I'm definitely thanking myself right now because I put myself on a great pedestal at this point, and just want to keep going. So I think
Great path.
Path. Yeah.
And
exactly.
pedestal. I mean.
Yeah. Path. Great path. Right. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
no,
anyway, I'm definitely sitting here thanking myself for what I had done back then, even though I'm still not to where I want to be.
Yeah.
Definitely, like.
You look back at those moments and don't
all
regret.
All of it isn't a joke,
sense,
right? I applied myself to a process that I thought that in the long term would pay off.
You
right?
thought it would work if you did it.
I thought it would work if I did it, and I dedicated myself to it, and it has started to work. So I'm starting to see results, and that's just what I'm trying to preach to anybody. Is just get started on something.
Mm-hmm.
Don't waste another day, because if you waste another day, it's just a missed opportunity, right? You're not going to get that day back. Today, what's today? March 18th, 19th?
Yeah.
Okay, March
17th.
March 17th of 2019. You're never going to get this day back, right? So try to make it count. And over time, it's gonna pay dividends, man.
It accumulates. We've seen
It accumulates, right? It's like snowball, like you say, right? You
It's
just
a snowball.
it's just
compound interest.
rolling
It's
down
all
the
these
hill,
things.
bro.
Yeah.
Rolling.
Take the snowball and roll it down the hill.
Yeah.
It'll
Get it
be
going.
massive.
Get it going.
Yeah.
It'll be massive at the bottom.
Yeah.
It'll
Or
be massive.
at the top, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think it also comes down to getting better though, and we always say this:
Attention.
being the best,
Process?
to be the best.
Being the
You
best,
know,
Yeah. Or
it's one of my favorite
I love
sayings.
the
Yeah.
process.
I used to
I'm
always
a big believer in the process.
process is key.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. It's so cliche, but people just you have to do it.
It
Yeah.
leads to good things. If you trust the process, it leads to good things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having a process in place leads to good things.
Yeah.
There's multiple elements.
Yeah. Plan it.
You gotta
Gotta
be
plan it out.
You have to plan it out. That's one thing I've learned with music.
Gotta have a plan.
You gotta have a plan. If you don't have a plan, then you're just kind of doing things randomly. It's kind of like a brand. You need a brand. You gotta have a vision.
You gotta have
Gotta
goals.
Yeah, and goals.
Right? You
know?
gotta have goals, have standards to hit, expectations that you want to reach.
Yeah.
I think that's all extremely valid.
Absolutely. There's something though I really think is crucial is about wanting to get better. Seeing yourself. I know sometimes when I'm producing or creating content, I think, wow, I can't wait if this could have looked like this, you know, or like until I can make it look like this or make it sound like this. Like, I'm gonna learn how to do that, you know? And then you see what you can't do and you wanna do that, you know? That's where I wanna be every day. It comes down to like trying to be the best, whether you're an educator, you know, a car salesman. You gotta find the ways to improve, you know? You have to ask those questions about yourself and see if you can do it, you know? I know there's times I've tried to learn graphic art techniques I can't do, you know, but I get better at it, you know, I learned something, and maybe I learned how to do a different
just
technique,
adding
you
a
know?
tool to the arsenal,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know?
adding a different technique, you know?
Adding
I
a brick to the building.
yeah.
Adding
you know?
a brick to the foundation.
There's been times I've looked up Pro Tools tutorials on, say, creating this type of sound, and in the middle of it, I see this shortcut or hotkey or this setting that I've never seen before, and then I get this totally different idea, and then I just run with that, and next thing you know, I've learned completely how to create this new sound when I was trying to learn how to do something else. So it's just about trying to learn, you know, and always having like that detailed eye.
Yeah.
Talk about the details. They're really important.
Attention to the details, man. The margins are small as you reach the top, right? The top of the mountain starts getting smaller and smaller, and even the details down to the bottom of it, what people are doing, the differences are little, you know?
Yeah. I was telling someone the other day, I was in this conversation with another engineer about Apple versus Microsoft,
Okay.
and I love Apple's feeling and the experience they get.
It's an experience.
Yeah, it's an experience because they really care about the details. I know Microsoft can do everything, you know, those computers, whatever, can do anything, you know, an Apple one can do. Same with like the phones, you know? I'm sure there's like really no differences.
But yeah,
But it's
the
the
experience
detail, the
that you get
experience
from
you
picking
get
up
from
the app, like a brand new 10X.
Opening
you're like,
up that
wow.
yeah, open up that box.
It's also tough to compare because Microsoft's like more software based and
Yeah.
Apple's all
No, they,
hardware.
they kill it.
cloud.
Absolutely,
So obviously,
Microsoft is
'cause-
amazing. But
Because
like,
you're probably buying a Dell more. Obviously now the Surface Pro and what have you, but it's kind of hard to compare. But
Well, and I think building on your point, you guys' point, it all comes back to like why do people live life? They do it for experiences.
yeah,
You
for the
call
greatest
love,
story.
You call love an experience. You could do it for a story. You could call, you know, winning an experience. You call being a soccer player an experience. Being a
Sound is
businessman.
an experience.
Sound, listening to music is an experience. And people,
They chase those, man. Why do people look to go out? Because they chase that fun night that they had that one time.
exactly.
That
Like if you
experience,
open up an Apple product, it's more of an experience. So it's just like building on the thing that experiences are why we do what we do in the first place.
Yeah, which is always usually focused around the details.
That is a very valid word. Very important. Experience.
Yeah,
Experiences. You learn from your experiences, you know?
you gotta try something in order to actually learn to figure out how to get good at it. There's so many people all the time that try to tell me, you know, what works that they learned in marketing school because I'm not a marketing major. It's like the only reason I've learned what works and what doesn't work is through Ike and actually trying to market this stuff. By doing it, figuring out, wow, that didn't fucking work, and then adjusting, and then, you know, creating something better. You know, maybe that's not the solution yet.
Finding a solution.
Yeah, but I'm actually trying. It's experimentation. You know.
I think just if anything, experience, learning by experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Throw the man in the jungle, see if he'll survive.
Yeah.
Exactly. You gotta living abroad.
You got to adapt.
Living abroad, you got to adapt to your environment. I think any person will.
That's when you're forced to learn. I kind of like this quote that Hans Zimmer said. Or just this tip that he always says. He says, put yourself up against the wall. Where you want to be, if your back is against the wall, like you throw yourself in the woods, you put yourself in a foreign situation, put yourself abroad. You have to adapt.
Yeah.
You have to adapt. Sometimes he talked about how with his music, he had no other option. He wasn't a great student. The only thing he could do was create these scores. He's a film composer.
It's a unique skill to have.
Yeah, and his back was against the wall. He had to succeed, or else he had nothing else. And so that pushed him. Like Chris, probably with your soccer. There was a point where, you probably felt like your back was against the wall. Say whether it was you had to make an impression. That you needed to do. You had to, in the tournament or something. And I don't know if there is a moment like that for you, or can you think of one where your back was kind of against the wall?
No, I mean,
or I'm just thinking, maybe
life goes on, but elimination game.
Yeah, no, I mean,
no, I'm thinking more so there's a point where your future didn't when you were a sophomore in college.
So bad.
When you were a sophomore in college, and you were unsure of where you were gonna be as a soccer player, and your back was kind of against the wall because you didn't have the greatest relationship with the coach at the time.
Yeah.
How do you think that pushed you to become the player you are today?
I think it tests. You learn a lot about yourself, right? Because in that moment, your first 2 years of college soccer didn't go as planned. You look at people trying to show you all the odds of the amount of kids who are actually playing in the MLS and how many kids just get shot down to the USL, the percentage of kids that even get drafted, or my team was the bottom team in the Big Ten 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So I was like, how am I gonna make this work? And it literally stemmed from reading one book, and I just changed everything that I had to do. My back was up against the wall. I was like, I've been playing soccer my whole life, and if I'm gonna make this work and be a pro like everybody said I could when I was young, I really gotta put in the time if I really want to do this. That was Mind Gym. That was just the first thing that explained to me how important mentality is in sports. Because I kind of had a weak head, right? I would lose my head a lot and just wasn't as mentally strong as I needed to be if I wanted to get to where I wanted to go. So after learning just that little component and stemming it into new books that I read and just applying all the principles that I learned, it's crazy how far it took me. And if I didn't believe in myself in that time, my coach, I don't know if he did at the time. He knew I could be something, but not if I didn't do it for myself, right? So I was up against the wall with that sense. And
what's one of the first things you changed, man, about your life, or just when your back was against the wall?
I think the first thing I started to have to do was make sacrifices that other people weren't willing to make. And just for example, in college, that was just going out. And even if it didn't do that much in the time, I thought it might, in recovery or whatever, some people say that they know great players who drink and whatever,
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I just felt for myself, it was just fueling my confidence because I knew that I was just picking up so many little advantages, So over time, my preparation and for the big moments and everything was just I had so much already confidence in myself that I knew that when the moment came, I couldn't be stopped.
You had the extra
time. I had the extra edge,
Yeah.
that was gonna build me for the battle basically. So when it came down to the strings, and then when the pressure was on, I had to perform, but I reverted to all those times that I know that
it's because you were prepared.
I was prepared.
Remember you were telling me, Cage, about Mark Cuban's book and how to be successful in the sport of business, or how to win at the sport of business. And he always talked about how he prepares. Some guys like Gary Vee, they like to freestyle, and Gary Vee is legend, love him. But Mark Cuban takes a different approach. He likes to really prepare.
Well, Mark Cuban, what he says is, a lot of people have the will to win, not many people have a will to prepare. And preparing is how you win.
Yeah.
So it's it just take whatever way you may, but it makes a lot of sense. If you prepare for something, if you're good at winging stuff, imagine if you prepared for stuff.
Yeah.
You'd kill it. You knock it out of the park. Even 10 minutes of prep.
Yeah.
That's with anything. Even
I
thinking
myself
PowerPoint at school.
That's exactly what I was thinking of, presentation.
If you prepare and do note cards in the mirror for 10
One
minutes
time.
a night, or 1 minute a night even, you know, like little things, you're going to go in and you're just going to remember it. Like, you're just going to kill it.
That's what I was saying. I was always the type to wing it, you know, in my speeches. Personally. And I always thought to myself, you know, try and just look at that, you know, like, because obviously there's great moments. You have natural, like, funny, candid moments. But when you prepare, you feel like you're
setting
you're
yourself
gonna
up
win.
to succeed.
You're setting yourself up
to
kind
succeed.
of putting it on a plate for yourself.
Yeah, Chris, can you one thing I'm curious about is, can you talk about, I guess, just going back to experiences, kind of we had touched on experiences a little earlier, and like everything is an experience, whether it's like meant to be happening or the ideal thing that's happening, or maybe it's not so ideal to happen. But one thing I noticed that's interesting is like you talk about just kind of being one of the younger guys on the team and how that's been just kind of being like definitely one of the more vocal passionate guys in the field, if anything leading by example with a high work rate. And like you just talk about like kind of embracing just like the love from the fans that's come from that, and just like kind of like the challenges of leading as a young guy and like a team full of grown men, and just I guess like not something that's happening 100%.
Yeah, I think that one of the most important things that I had to start doing was literally just being myself like at all times, because who I am deep down, I'm like someone who will do anything to win. I will put the team like before myself. I'll do anything off the field, any extra work, make any extra sacrifices to be successful. And I think that just from me doing that for so long now, like not for so long, but it's been a year, right? People see how I carry myself and like how much I care about the game, how hard I work on the pitch. And I think that just kind of like leads in itself, right? People like to see like when someone cares that much, and even the older guys are, starting to say things to me and just like realize like, I think they're just starting to realize that I'm like, I love like what I'm doing. I love the game. I love the work.
You are who you
said. Right. So like, I think in that sense, like the experience of like coming in and just trying to continue to be yourself and do basically what got you to where you were, as long as they're good habits, then
it's kind of like working hard and like staying dedicated, leading by example, kind of like letting your actions dictate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where you.
Max, you always say you have to know yourself.
You do have to know yourself. I guess just like be honest with yourself, know what you're good at, know what you're not, and know what like how you can get ahead. Like I know I can't function really well, like in the PM or like study or do a lot of work. So I try to get up early, get it all set. Just know myself, being honest with myself.
Putting yourself in a position to succeed.
Also, like we were talking about, revert to your strengths. That's what you're good at. Ride with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of all circles back. There's
keep it
those
real.
couple basic lessons. Like discipline is one of those things that always circles back. Knowing what you want to do.
Yeah, discipline's important until you can build in and like instill habits. I've noticed discipline to be really important.
That seems like a great place to wrap it up. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I'm down for
a cup of Joe.
Great.
Welcome.
Welcome to Ike. We have touched down at your destination. Here you'll find inspiration, ideas, creativity, conversation, energy, culture, stories, and more, while you listen to an audio experience unlike anything else. It's beautiful sound that appeals to the senses. It's information you can use. Interesting guests. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ike. This is an Ike podcast. Hey everyone, it's Ike here, co-founder. We have a great show for you today. Kicking off the first episode of the podcast, KJ, myself, Max, and Chris sit down and we talk big ideas. And we're happy you're here.
Welcome.
Welcome to Ike. My name is KJ Eichstead. I'll be your host, and we're going to get right into it. Bringing out the heavy hitter guests. I'm here today with Chris Mueller, visionary professional soccer player. What's going on, Chris?
What's up, man? How you guys doing? Tuning in to you guys from Orlando, Florida. All's going well, but thanks for having me on.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Chris, for joining us. For those of you who don't know, Chris was the 6th overall pick in the MLS draft after a long, successful career at Madison. He was the Rookie of the Year runner-up in his first year, MLS Skills Champion in year 2. Year 3, he's prepared to take on an increased leadership role, put on more for the team, put on more for the city, and just continue to grow. I'm also here with Max.